So I decided to make a shed hunting video, and I went back and forth about it. I wasn't gonna do one just because I like getting out in the woods by myself and not having to worry about a camera or anything, kind of slowing me down or just taking away from being out in the woods. But I decided I'd just do a little one. I've been having some pretty good luck this year. It's been my best year ever. So figured maybe I could give people a couple tips that might help them if they're getting out there and looking for sheds. And I didn't get all my shed hunting on video. Actually, I got very little of it. So to get all of my shed hunts on film would be way too much. Too many batteries, too many SD cards, too much editing of footage. Last year I put in almost 100 miles and found 10 sheds. So just to give you a little perspective on how long that would take. I mean, sure, you can edit it down to a 20-minute video, but that's just a ton of work, and I don't want to do that. So I went out this year and I hit some good spots that I figured I might find a couple, and I found some last year, and I got a couple sheds on film here for you, and the rest of it is just kind of giving you some tips. And I point out a couple spots where I found some but didn't get them on film this year, and then at the end here I'll show you all the sheds I've found this year and talk about some of the bigger ones. So hope you enjoy and hope you find some helpful information in this video that when you're out looking might give you a better chance, and good luck if you do get out. So one good spot to check is fence lines, where the deer would have to jump over the fence to get out into a field. A lot of times that'll knock antler loose. So I always hit every fence line that I have access to at least once a year. A lot of times it's easier to spot out here, so I don't usually hit it twice. Like I might hit some woodlots where you could probably walk past them and miss them, but these are just kind of easy spots to cover a lot of ground that's possibly good really fast. So see what we can find. So I'm just going down this pipeline here. I thought I saw something kind of shiny out of the corner of my eye. A little one, but we'll take it. That's number 13 for the year. So that one I just found was the fourth one this year that I actually found from a four-wheeler or a motorcycle. I found two the other day, this same property on my DRZ, which is kind of a first for me. This year is the first time I've ever found them riding rather than walking. So I'm on number 4 off of a vehicle this year, so that's pretty good. So I picked up all this junk that people have tossed out: soda bottles, bucket, can of chew, and some rims and tires off something. But a really good spot to hit if you've got access to it is area with a lot of oaks, red, white, doesn't matter, as long as there's acorns. And if there's hemlocks mixed in, that's a huge plus too. It's kind of what I'm hitting right here. There's a bunch of red oaks, a few white oaks, and a bunch of hemlocks scattered throughout that kind of keep the snow off from under them, and they'll get under there in bed, and then they'll dig up, paw the acorns up out of the snow. And we had a pretty late snow around the time when they were first starting to drop there that stayed on the ground for a couple weeks or so. So I know there's gonna be at least a shed or two in here. I found 2 half of 8 points in a small field this way, and I'd really like to match either of them up. So I've been through here twice already, but I really like to hit a lot of these spots 3 or 4 times, so you really never know what you're gonna see. Some deer drop later than others, or you'd be surprised what you walk right past. And even just going through it a different direction or a different angle will really make all the difference sometimes. A lot of oaks, a lot of acorns through here. You can tell where they really pawed this up. Uh-oh, what is that? Wow, that is exactly what we're looking for. That's gonna be a match to one of the ones I found earlier this year. That's a nice heavy half. I'm almost positive the other 2 half-8s I found were both lefts, and this is a right, so I bet that's a match. Be real surprised if it isn't. That's a beauty though. I'll take that all day long. You can see how buried it was in the leaves already. It either fell early, or the wind blew leaves up around it, or deer were pawing and kind of piled over it. I'm not real sure which, but damn, that's a nice buck. You can see I mean, this is just a real kind of ideal mix of oak and hemlock. These are oak here. All sorts of acorns where they've been pawing them up all winter. All this is tore up. Hemlocks, lots of bedding. This is perfect. This is really what you want to look for. This isn't exactly south facing. If you have something like this that's south facing, you're really in the money, but they've been in here like crazy, so that's really any place with a lot of sign, deer sign, is somewhere worth checking. And the other thing, you kind of want to hit the fields and get those covered before you hit the woods. I mean, you can do both at the same time, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you've got a lot of fields to cover, get out and cover those before the grass starts growing up, because they get real hard to spot in that tall green grass. I mean, if not impossible. The smaller ones you'll never find once the grass starts growing. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're picking your spots that you want to try. So we'll find out when I get back, but I either found, if this is a match, I found it either here or out there in the middle of this field. So this area had kind of melted off with snow. It was one of the first areas I checked. I was checking areas that had already melted, and one laid right here. And then I walked this field like I probably walked over it 3 to 4 times before all the snow melted. And then after the snow melted, I came back, and I don't think the deer dropped late. I just think I had walked over it 3 times, and it was right down here. So it just goes to show you really need to walk these areas more than once. If you only walk an area once, you're gonna miss sheds. It's almost guaranteed. If there's any sheds in there, there's gonna be some you miss. So just keep that in mind. Kind of, if you're like me and you get bored, skip around and come back in a week or 2 weeks and hit the same spot over again at different angle. So this is the 2019 haul. Deadhead came from out behind work. There's a bunch of state land out there, and me and my buddy go out there and check on lunch sometimes if we have a little bit of time, and found that was a real treat. Pretty decent one. Nice 8. It's got some goofy stuff going on that side. It's like a hole in that main beam there, and then it kind of, I don't know if you can see that, juts back in there. It's really kind of weird. But these 2 were mule deer sheds that I found in Arizona when I was out there mule deer hunting. Pretty nice size. I'd probably have shot either of those. Bunch of small ones here. This is by far the smallest one I've ever found. Just to give you some perspective. I'm surprised I even saw that one. A couple of these were pretty small. I was on a roll. I found, I think, 3 or 4 of these in a row. This one, a couple 4 points there, half 4 points. Another 4. This one I found right around here. He'll be pretty decent. This one I found at my buddy's elk camp in Pennsylvania, Benazet, PA. We were out there looking for elk sheds. Didn't find any elk sheds, but ran right across that on the trail. Actually, we were just driving out in his mule and found that. So that was neat. And then this is the match. I found one of these. I can't remember which side, but in this video, earlier in this video, is I think it was this side. So he'll be a nice one this year. He'll probably be, I mean, that's probably, I don't know, hard to tell. You have to estimate a spread, but he'll be a nice 3.5-year-old deer this year. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a couple things if you're new to shed hunting, and if you are new to shed hunting, I hope you get out there and give it a shot, because it's a lot of fun and you never know what you're gonna find. Like I said, the first couple of years I didn't have near as much luck as I had this year, so I'm hoping that I am just kind of focusing on the right spots a little bit more, and really happy with how this year turned out. No complaints whatsoever. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.